Good morning. Welcome to Start Your Day with CPA. Subject matter that we're getting into today is mentality. This is going to be the number one thing that helps you with productivity, feeling your happiest, and getting to a new level in life. So, doing a review of yesterday. Yesterday was a really good day in June 2023. Spent a lot of time working with adults, spent a lot of time working with youth, and ultimately the thing that keeps coming up consistently during the summer is this concept for people where they get stuck in between. And if this is you, make sure you have your ears open. A little bit more time in the summer because youth don't have school, and then parents have a little bit more responsibility. They're taking more vacations. There's a little bit more time off for the people who don't have the time or resources yet for vacation or taking time off. They're trying to make sure that they enjoy the sun. They're enjoying what's happening around the United States. So when you're getting up each morning, the number one thing to make sure that you put energy into is mentality. Now, how does that work? Mentality. How do we put energy into mentality? Number one is making sure that you're doing a review of what's happened recently in your life. For right now, I can speak to what happened yesterday. Yesterday, there were a decent amount of people coming into the facility wanting to work on the three things that we focus on: business, relationships, and sports. And like I said before, the space where people are getting stuck most often is they want to have goals. They want to be able to push toward what's going to come next in their life, being able to get themselves to a new level. However, there is this natural feeling of wanting to relax, this natural feeling of wanting to chill and do less. Realistically, that's coming upon a lot of people. And I want to make sure you understand, you don't have to be working all day long. You don't have to be putting time and energy in all day long to the crafts that you want to do, unless, of course, that is your forte. It's important that you realize that you can still have the things that you want in life, and you can still get to a new level by having a timed out schedule. So the way mentality works in this is, over 50% of the time, people who are stuck in a spin cycle or people who are stuck on a hamster wheel, what's happening is they're spending so much time with self-doubt. They're spending so much time with a lack of belief that they can have the lifestyle that they want, or that they're able to accomplish the things that they truly desire to accomplish. And before you can have any kind of success, or monetary success, time-based success, award success, result-based success, before you can have success in these areas, it's important that you set up your mentality to a space where you believe that you're going to get to the other end. So there's some people who watch the things that I do, or there's some people who come in and engage with the things that I do who are into sports. There's some people who are into books and literature and academics. There's some people who are into cars, and there's some people who are into real estate and different things like this. But ultimately, the concept stays the same, that mentality is going to be the number one thing that helps you get to the next level. And so some very specific ways in the morning that I like to start with mentality is making sure that I write down what are the things that have been on my mind. So that might be things that I put in a category, or that might be just free writing. And having a situation where you have a book, it's consistent. That can be a notebook. You can get a composition book from the store for 98 cents, maybe even less. And spending some time writing in that and just putting down notes of things that have been on your mind. Things you can write down. What things that I've been utilizing to get progress in my craft. So if you are a person who's a banker and you want to be better about engaging with people, what are some of the things you thought about? Maybe some things that you had nervousness toward in the last interactions that you had on the previous day. Maybe some things that you thought you did well, that you'd like to replicate, that surprised yourself. But making sure that you write these things down so you can be reminding yourself of what your goals are and reminding yourself of where you're going. The biggest way to make sure that you can have consistency when it comes to trying to reach a goal is making sure that you're consistently aware of what that goal is. So if I personally were to have a goal of, I want to put out a minimum of 14 pieces of content per week, the best way for me to make sure that that actually happens is to have it in multiple forms. I want to see it in visual, where I have it written down. I want to hear it in audio, where I'm hearing myself say it out loud. And then, of course, I want to have the kinesthetic, where I'm actually seeing myself get up, go to the space, and doing these things. Having it in my hand, being able to do the edits, understanding the way the process works so that there's never a frustration, there never has to be an excuse of why it doesn't get done. making sure that you're teaching yourself. So number one in being able to get that mentality where you want it to is making sure to write things down and have a review. Second thing that you can do, make sure that you practice some sort of breathing or meditation. Now, for a lot of people, this sounds super corny, and this sounds like something that they won't or don't want to do. But ultimately, meditation for me was when the unlock to all my results-based success began to happen. When I was at a period in my life where I was getting close to the finish line, but wasn't really getting over the hump in terms of getting some first place finishes or getting the A or maximizing what I wanted to do in terms of my pursuit, meditation was the thing that started to peak. And this doesn't have to be you sitting down for 3 hours in the garden, silent, doing meditation. Meditation can be something that takes less than 3 minutes out of your day. But starting the practice of being aware of your breath, which is a primary thing that you control in life, being able to close your eyes, get visuals of how you want your life to go, the things that you want to be able to see that are happening for you, that's real. It's very real. So if you decide to put time and energy into it, I guarantee your mentality, maximization of your progress is going to happen for you. You're going to get to a new level. So after you have written down things that are important for you, doing a review of your days, doing a review of the things that you have focused on, starting to put time and energy into meditation, focusing on your breath. Again, that can be under 3 minutes if you so choose. But it has to be something that you begin to add in consistently. How much is consistently? That means you're doing it every week. If you can do it every day, you're in great shape. But you have to be able to do these things every week. Okay? You have to win the week as well. That means you're doing more days of it than you're doing without it. If there's 7 days in a week, that's a minimum of 4. 4 days, more than 3 days. You want to make sure you're winning the week. And then finally, you want to make sure that you're communicating to other people what your intention, what your goals are. And then after that, there's a last piece. But first, as the third piece, you want to communicate to other people what your intention and what your goals are. I'll never forget being 19 years old and having a person say, goals shouldn't be communicated. You should keep them to yourself. That way nobody else ruins them. And I remember thinking at the time, like, that feels odd to me. That doesn't feel right. Because ultimately, when you're going into goals and when you're pursuing goals, you're going to have to encounter other people. There's going to be other people who stand in your way. There's going to be other people who support you along the way. There's going to be people who are pursuing similar goals. There's going to be people who have experience in those goals. So you want to use these factors. You want to utilize the people who have experience in those goals by taking what things worked well and then pushing away the things that maybe wouldn't work for you or didn't work well. You want to make sure you're embracing the haters in your life, because that's how you're going to develop a callus. That's how you're going to develop the ability to push past challenge and to be able to push past barriers. So keeping that in your life is very important. But the most primary thing to keep in your life, of course, is the people who support the direction you're going. Making sure that you corral a team, you corral a group of people who see your vision or see where you're trying to go, and they're like, yeah, go there, push for that, do that, I'm with that. You've got to get that in your life, and it does not have to be 50 people. So if you're sitting there thinking, well, I just don't have people like that in my life, there are people in the world who would get with your vision. So you got to be willing to hunt it down. And the hunt is the most fun part. So making sure that you're hunting down these things in your life that are going to bring more strength to your mentality. Those are the people who've been there before. How can you learn from them? Take what works, throw away what doesn't. How can you start to corral the people who are on the same path and want to see you win? Getting that in your life is a really big deal. People who want to see you win. And then finally, this fourth piece is, once you've started to navigate these things, so A, you're starting to write down and record. B, you're starting to add in some meditation or closing your eyes, breathing, and seeing what it is you want to be able to accomplish in life. The third thing of starting to make sure that when you're looking at this big picture and you're looking at this big palette, you're adding in the thing and you're adding in the belief to be able to go. And then that final thing is, once you have the roadblocks, being willing to state, believe, and repeat that you are able to get over the hump. So many people start a project and then never finish because of some excuse, because time ran out, because it's hard, because somebody else didn't approve of it. But ultimately, if you have the goal of having a strong mentality and you want to be more productive, you want to be more successful, you want to put time and energy into self-belief. And self-belief can be trained. It's an important thing to know. It's not something you have to be born with. It's not something you have to have out of the womb. Self-belief is something that can be trained. So put time and energy into your self-belief. Make sure that you start to develop a program and a process, something that you can focus on, something that you can have time and energy put into. And I always want to be clear about this time and energy. I'm not saying you need to spend 16 awake hours doing this. If you want to, you're welcome to. But you can put in 20 minutes a day, focus on these things and get to a brand new level. You can put in less than 3 minutes of meditation and get to a brand new level. But it takes consistency. So start the day with CPA. Here's your start. Enjoy having you. Episode 2. I'll see you next time.
Want to do a quick smile for the thumbnail?
Yeah.